All right, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend there. Let me know if you guys have any trouble hearing me. I'm excited for today. Get to work on NemphaVT's OC here. They won the last raffle for June. So if you guys don't know, what I do is I will put up a post where you can place your OCs. I will take those OC images and place them in a wheel spin random generator. And whoever wins gets their OC in a portrait done in my style on stream. Uh, to keep it fair, what I do is if somebody wins twice, I will re-roll to make sure that everybody gets a chance. Um, yeah, so I'm super excited for this. I have learned my lesson from the first one, and I have done a good amount of the work ahead of time where I did the sketch, the line work, and the flats ahead of time. That way I can focus on just coloring and rendering for the stream. So yeah, let's get right into it here. All right. So, just so you guys know, this is the reference sheet that Nympha provided for their OC. Um, Inuyama, Sword Maiden of Destruction. So, this is like a really cool, really clean design sheet. Very, very helpful. Helped a lot in the process. And you know what? Even though I had this, I still forgot. Like when I was done initially, totally forgot to do these little pigtail things coming down from the side of her face, so I had to go back and add those after the fact. So, all right. So yeah, this is what I came up with the lines and the flats. I am trying to go back to my anime style. I have gotten like far away from it because I was trying to learn things. Um, I know you guys can't see it, but I have a reference over. Well, you can kind of see it over here in the corner of Mark Burnett's anime cell shading style. I watched videos on it last night to give me some insight on how I want to work on this. So that is what I am gonna do. Let's see. So let's go ahead. We'll grab this, and we're gonna work on the largest area first, which is the black areas. I always like to start them off as like a dark gray because of the way I work. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it here. I think we're also gonna mimic the light source being from the upper left, the same as like in like Mark's image here. So the first thing I'm gonna do, since I watched that video, is I'm just gonna kind of like block in the hard shadows real quick. So we're definitely going to need a lot of shadow work here on the boobas, the big old boobas. Actually, I think I'm gonna use a lot of gradient for that area. So let me at least get the hard shadows here. And Mark actually uses a brush for this, but I'll be doing a combination of the of using my lasso tool and my brush. Nice. So I'm glad you liked it. I saw that you were excited in the Discord when I posted this, so I was really happy about that. And after watching Mark's video last night, I saw that uh, when he does his cell shading, he doesn't soften up the edges of the hard shadows at all. So I am going to try to do that myself. Of course, I'm going to be incorporating like my own style into it as well. I don't want to like one for one copy another artist's style. So, but he's just such a good art teacher that I just had to, I wanted to utilize the things that he teaches. And I'm gonna start linking his videos in the Discord, so you guys can use those as a resource as well. Because I drastically improved after watching a ton of his videos. So and when you're doing like anime like cell shading, a lot of the shapes of the shadows are going to be like triangular in nature. So we're actually gonna leave some of this little spaces for some of the fold details. I am going to add one more step that Mark does not usually do in his process, and I will show you guys that after I finish these shadows. Just because I think it's kind of like a neat little touch that I personally like to use. Really helps with color variation. I'm going to start using my lasso here again for like the bigger areas. And we're going to kind of round off up here. As much as I like using like a really fine brush, sometimes it's like difficult to get it to fill in the hard shadows all the way. And I'm going to be doing a lot of like leaning over my tablet here. So you're going to see my character like kind of like at an angle here, my VTuber model. Oh man, I've had like 4 people in here like when I first put the um, first went live, and then they've disappeared on me. I hope they come back so they can also enjoy the process. But of course, there's tons of artists here to also support on Twitch, so you know you don't have to watch me. I just appreciate it if you do. I support all artists. Alright, then this one's gonna be a nice big one here. Yeah, I definitely use like a different technique than I would do with my web comic for this. I made the initial line art a lot thinner, but I still added the line width variation after the fact. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My allergies are kicking in again, as per usual. So I might get kind of gruff. Gruff. Be the crime dog for those that are old enough to remember Gruff. He's a detective. And of course, now that we're doing the shading, we can go into even more depth of the form here. So kind of like expand on where the line work was like the guides. Looking good so far. Oops. No, stop. Keep hitting the wrong thing. Keep accidentally hitting the little buttons on my pen that I like pretty much never use for anything. So I probably should start like assigning like hotkeys to them. Probably be really helpful. Definitely want some detail over here. Where they kind of like little dips inward, where the fold is like has the kind of like meet up and like make the separations. Again, using like, kind of like triangular shapes. Gotta make sure I don't go too overboard with that too. Maybe cut out some of these areas. Again, with like the anime style, you don't want to go too detailed, which is like one of my biggest like issues as far as, oh my god, making myself have the discipline to simplify. Simplify shapes and shading and all that good stuff. But I kind of like this approach too, because it also like reminds me of uh, like how shading used to be in like the 80s and 90s as far as anime goes. Oh my goodness. I need to flip the canvas here so I can get the right angle. If it'll let me. Jeez. There we go. And I'll make sure I save. Oh my god, I've got this like really soft fuzzy robe like I wear in the house because we keep the AC cranked, but I've got the window open right now and it is so hot outside. I only had the window open for my kitty Vegeta to enjoy because he likes to look outside, so. The song's so silly. I love it. Yeah, it's been awful. And it sucks because, like, Havoc and I are, like, in the process of moving, so of course it's hot as fuck outside, like, every time we move. Yeah. It's okay. We'll survive. And the next move that we're doing is going to be out of the country anyway, so hopefully to a place with a much better climate, so we won't have to worry about that so much. Much more chill, relaxed climate. I'm so glad I started using the lasso tool. It is so useful. Alrighty. Oops. I think this is like the most complicated part, actually. I don't know why I put so many details down here, but that's okay. It was fun to draw anyway. Again, that's me like not having restraint when it comes to to detailing. But it's okay. We're gonna use the lighting to bring the focus up to the face area, so it'll be okay. This would be just like a nice little thing if people like zoom in and start like Easter egg hunting essentially through like the artwork. So, 'cause I know some people do that. Make sure I save often. Whoops, that's not what I want. There we go. Yeah, I'm drinking some water and I'm sitting up straight. I'm gonna have to lean over again here so I can get closer. You know, I need to scoot closer to my tablet. That would probably help. Sometimes I'm just like physically far away from it. Let's get some of the shadows from the hair piece here. Perfect. Got that. Let's see, so we are going to have the light coming from that way, so some of it is going to hit there. Let's get like this. Actually, let's bring that like this. I think that looks better. It's kind of rounded for the boobas. Alright, fine. I'll use my brush. It just was not doing what I wanted. I'm gonna leave just a slight, if I can get this right here. There we go. I'm gonna leave like a little bit of a line here, so when we do the rest of the colors later, it doesn't all blend together and like lose detail. Oops. Alright, again, the light's kind of coming this way, so gotta do my best to keep track of that. And normally what I would do is I would take this layer and I would just duplicate it and use it as the shape for the shadow, but I'm gonna try to do it manually and hopefully it'll look nice. Especially since we're going for like the cell shading here, so. Alright, let's make this kind of more rounded like that. Want to still like try to preserve some shapes here. Hopefully it doesn't look like ass. Kind of have like where it's like stretched across there with the material. Looks okay. Alright. Oops. And the shade doesn't have to make 100% sense, but it needs to look at least close enough that it's like believable. Alright, so we're definitely gonna have the shadow from the head here. Why is this suddenly up there? That's strange. Why did that happen? I'm confused. What did I do? Why is there a shadow up there? Hold on. Oh. Oh. That's so weird. It should be just clipped to this, though. Okay, whatever. It's fine. We can just take away the selection. probably because all of this is clipped to the base. That's got to be it. Alright, and then we want more of the hair here. Pendant a bit, like, kind of like that. Oh, that's not the what I wanted. There we go. And there's a little bit of some like detailing here. I want to make sure that that doesn't get lost. So I'm going to erase away some of the shadow. We're going to carve that back out. There we go, that's better. Oops. Come on with that to do this. Nope, wrong brush. And wrong thing again. I'm just like batting 1,000 here, jeez. Alright, let's get some of the hair. Getting there. So let's do this. Let's flip it back the correct way so I make sure that I'm keeping track of where the light source is. At least a rough idea. We're gonna do some more folds there just to kind of have it make sense. down here. Make sure I save. Oh, there's supposed to be gold there. Let's fix that real quick. Boop. There we go. Get my shadow color back. Alright. Let's have the booba shadow. Again, I want to leave a little bit of a separation there. Let's have to go in and do it detailed. Do it manually in here. Yeah, so when you're doing like cell shading, you have to also think about like negative space as well. You know, that way you don't lose any details because you didn't put any negative space in between the shadows. I could actually probably extend this a bit more down to here. Oops. Wee woo. Banana guards. Hehehe. I can select my lasso tool, that would be super cool. Alright, there's not going to be a lot of light down here, so and this is actually behind, so we'll do that. I'll have to put some like lighter color over that later. I really hope when I do these OC arts that it also maybe uh, helps the artist out. They get like a different perspective on like how they're someone else would like draw their character, maybe pick up like some techniques and whatnot. I'm not saying that my technique is better than theirs by any means. It's just nice to see how other artists do things, like how they interpret things. So, and this is a webcomic character, so the level of detail I'm doing right now is way too high for a webtoon. So, this is definitely like, like maybe like a promotional illustration like level. Yeah, I never, so I know a lot of people would be like to say like, oh, I'm better than this person or that person, and like, should never do that because people are just in different places like in their art journey, and they also might just have like different styles and techniques than you. So, somebody wants to do a style that's like, a little more simplified, but it still is like, what they enjoy and what they like. You should never criticize them for that, or place yourself on a pedestal over anyone because that's just rude. It's the same with like trying to compare yourself to like a professional. It's like that person's like, been doing this like a really long time and they've had all sorts of like resources and everything. So they're just in a like much farther place in their art journey than you, and you can get there too and be a professional as well. So like I'm still missing like a ton of like fundamentals. So I can't 100% call myself a professional yet. It's definitely an area I really need to focus on is fundamentals. Yeah, exactly. Like I absolutely like it makes my day when someone does like a fan art of like my OCs or my characters, and they do it in just such a different way that it's just so cool. Hey, Kara, how are you? Welcome to the stream. I like your hello emote there. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. So let's put some shadow from the sleeve. I spent a lot of time on the hand doing this. I want to make sure it's good. Oh, I'm glad you like the vibes. I try to have like a pretty like relaxed like chill stream. Especially since I'm working on artwork here. There's no need to have anything stressful going on. So just listen to some good music and work on some arts. It gets a little more hectic when I'm playing games, but not too bad. If it's like a horror game, I'll definitely like, freak out a little bit. Like I'm playing Alien Isolation on stream, and that's been fun. Oh yeah, yeah. So what I do is, let me explain. I do a OC art raffle. So people can submit their characters to me on Twitter or through my Discord. And then I take all the images, I put them in a spin wheel, and whoever gets the wheel spin gets a free portrait art from me in my style. So yeah, this is Nempha's webcomic character. This is the second winner. I've only done one before this, but I plan on having it be like a regular series. It's a super cool character design. I really like it. It's hilarious too because I'm not gonna lie. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I hope this gets picked soon because I want to do this. Not that I mean I want to do everybody's characters, but I was like, this design is like right up my alley. Oh yeah, it's it's super pretty. I like it. I'm gonna attempt to do like a warmer um, rendering on this than I normally do because I usually work with cool colors. All right, so we can actually do this as mostly in shadow here. And then what I'll do is I'll carve away spots. I know I'm gonna have to erase some of this because it's like clip 2. Oops. Eraser. Give me the eraser. Oh, okay. That actually needs to be filled in. We're going to use different shading for the eye, so we're going to erase this away. Alright, and then we can carve away some of this. Make sure there's nice separation between the finger. go. I'll leave a little bit of that for the. We're gonna put some glow on the eye, I think. That's how we're gonna do that. Just a little bit right there. So it's got separation. Actually, I'm gonna even do a little bit here where the fingernail is. Speaking of the way you designed this character, I love the little splash of purple on the face. Like really is a good like way to highlight things, like a color that isn't present like anywhere else on the character really brings the focal point up. You did an awesome job with that. That was a really good design choice. You're welcome. It's just such a cool character in general. I'm gonna leave a little bit of this kind of lighter. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I did use your palette that you provided, but what I did is I desaturated some of it because if I were to have the saturation like all the way up with my art style, it would become like muddy and like not really pop as well. So I just kind of like I color picked and then I desaturated just a bit. But it's totally fine to have the high saturation for like a webtoon. Oh yeah, it's funny. Like so for me, like I started off with like higher saturation, and I've noticed that I had to do like way more like post production like adjustments. So I've kind of dialed back because I noticed with my style, if it's like it's too saturated, it just like I don't know, things get lost. Like a lot of the values and a lot of the form get like kind of like just destroyed essentially. So like you saw I showed you the webtoon panels before I started redoing it, right? Like yeah, the colors were pretty, but like sometimes it's difficult to tell what's going on exactly. So I like dialed the saturation way back, and I've been focusing more on like zooming out and making sure that the values all read. I am super glad that I'm working on the webcomic again, though. I didn't want it to just be like one of those projects that just stayed shelved like forever and never got done. It's like I actually met my wife because of the webcomic, because she was looking for an artist, and she wanted to do it as like like novel type writing. But when I read her writing, I was like, oh, this is like I can visualize all of this. We should do this as a comic. So I owe it to her in particular to make sure that it happens. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Oh my god, my headphones are like roasting my ears. One of these days, I'm gonna get headphones that'll actually fit me correctly. I have some pretty large ears, so it's like difficult for me to find headphones that fit. Trying to make the details look good here because they're so close to the face. Yeah, I was telling John 117 because he was looking for like advice for like relationships and stuff, and you know, I ended up with my wife when I stopped like looking and was working on just like improving myself as a person, and it all just kind of like fell into place. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's also funny because like I'm pretty sure I'm significantly older than he is, so it's like, oh my god, am I dadding somebody? like like I hope I'm not just like going into dad mode like on one of my viewers like. He appreciated it though, so in the end it worked out, I guess. I need to ask him how it went because he was gonna try his luck with somebody he likes, so I want to cheer him on. I probably shouldn't be airing his business on stream. I'm sorry, John. It just related to uh, meeting my wife, so I hope you'll forgive me. can do now. Trying to figure out how to get this to kind of. Looks kind of weird. I don't know. We might be able to fix it with the. There's going to be a layer that has gradients, so. We're going to hope for the best. Trying to leave some spots for the light to hit. Alright, so a lot of this down here is going to be in shadow. Let's get the hair. Tried to do my best to look like she was like pulling her hair away from her face. It's like something I'm usually not like brave enough to do, but I think it worked out okay with this. And it adds some like asymmetry to the image though. There'll probably be more light, I feel, as it gets towards this. Thanks. I love the support. It makes me happy. That's all artists want to be, right? Is happy. There we go. Hell yeah. Getting there. Almost done with the black parts. Or maybe we are. Oh no! Sorry, I did that so the door wouldn't like swing and bang while you were.
It's fine. I'm not giving any more raises.
Surprise. Yeah, that's not surprising. Let's see, dislike. Sorry, I just came in the room there, so wanted to say hi to her. All right, let's build this up, which is something that Mark doesn't do, but it's something that I like to do, so do that, and we'll do one more, so it's not quite like, you know, pure black. We want to leave some like variation in it there. All right, so now we can do some gradient. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of like the local colors. I haven't figured out what color I'm gonna do with the background, so I should probably figure that out. Alright, I'm gonna just kind of brush in some of the local colors here first. And there'll probably be a little bit of the red reflected from some of the hair in the back here. And let's make this a bit smaller here so I can kind of, it looks like I'm gonna have to go and erase some of that because it's getting on the face too, which is fine. I can do that. Nope, that's not what I want. That, and in there, and a little bit across here. Alright, so some of that, so we got some of the red. Let's get some of the gold. Am I doing this on the right layer? I am, right? Oh no, that's hair. Oh my god, I gotta pay attention to my own. You know what, maybe I should do this as hard. No, hard light's kind of harsh. Let's not do that. We'll stick to multiply. We're gonna deviate a little bit here from my original plans. Alright, so we're gonna do over here and kind of around through here. Let's make this brush bigger again. A little bit there. And see, we want kind of like a warm, I'm gonna go for like a more warm image here. So we're gonna use some warmer colors for some of this. You know what I should do to make this easier on myself is I can do this. That way I don't have to worry about friggin' going into other areas. Alright, there's gonna be lots of shadow, of course, under here. I'm gonna get like more of the form going. This shadow is going to kind of continue this way because the way the light is going to hit. Kind of want some color variety in this too, so let's do a little bit of blue here and there.
playing phone tag with the doctor. Just look at the list.
Mm.
It's like no one I talk to on the phone can hear me anymore. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I'm just frustrated.
Oh, I'm sure it sounds frustrating.
And they're just like not trying to go to this meeting. They're trying to just quit right now. They
Yeah.
can't really do that, so that's fine.
Alright, so I've got some blues in there too. Alrighty. Deselect that real quick. And we're gonna turn that down a little bit so it's more subtle. And then we'll build it up a little bit. Not glow dodge. Let's do. No, we can just do like the usual with the shadows here. So we'll do 30%. Oops, that's too many. I had 2 of them selected. Linear burn. Kind of want to do one more gradient layer. I think that would be helpful. We'll do some hard light. And I'm gonna take like this darker blue and kind of go in here. Kind of more shadow. Oh crap, I forgot to do select the layer again. There we go. Kind of get the forms going here. This again. Grab this and get some gold. Alright. Let's do turn it down to 50. And we're gonna duplicate it and do glow dodge. Turn that down to 30. Alright, we'll have some variety in the color now, and now we can do the lighting on it. Alright, so I kinda wanna imitate this up here a bit. So we're gonna start with like I'm gonna desaturate it a bit here, and we're gonna do hard lights. And I guess I'll start brushing like the soft part of the light first. I gotta select the damn layer again, jeez. Keep doing this. Alright, it's gonna be a good amount of light here. Up in here. Kinda hit more in this area too. A little bit here. bit down on this side here. And let's get some yellows in here. Probably desaturate that a bit. And a little bit more yellow. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller, so we can kind of start to get the areas that's going to hit the hardest. Alright, so now the rest I'm going to have to do manually here. Alright, let's see. Figure out how to do this lighting. I'll use some areas here for the shadow. Oops. Let's get rid of that off of here. Start using my brush a little bit here and there. And let's see, let's have a little bit hitting down here, in this area. cool there. Let's do definitely across the top of the fingers up here. Kind of get some of these details while I'm in here. Oops. That'll be fine. I probably should have done this on a separate layer, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep rolling. So you always want the highest amount of rendering or lighting in the focal point area, and then as you get away from the focal point, you don't have to go quite as hard with like the rendering. I noticed a lot of professional artists have like where they kind of have areas where like the main focal point is rendered like really well, and then as you get away from it there's like kind of like medium like levels of rendering, and then like towards the bottom area where you're not really looking, it's like almost like sketchy, like unfinished rendering, and it looks really well because it helps guide your eye. Yeah, they're sit up. The worst part about it is like I need my keyboard, so I can't like get like all up on my tablet like I would like. But thank you. Yeah, drank some water. I'm sitting up a little bit more. lost my mouse. There it is. No, why? Why? Hit the stupid thing again. My little hotkey on my freaking pen. Words, how do they work? Oops. No, I did it again. Damn it. Maybe I just need to like disable it so I can stop hitting it. Yep, because it messed up the freaking. There we go. Like, I'm sure it's super cool and super helpful when somebody's got it down, but I'm obviously not that guy. Yeah. All right, got that. Must be a little bit more in a couple spots here. Let's kind of use some of this just for like separation of values. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Jeez. And then maybe a little bit here. I think we'll be okay. All right, nice. Got that. Like 50. Duplicate. Let's do glow dodge. And we're gonna blur the hell out of that. Let's do like 50. And turn the opacity down a little bit. And add glow. And we're also going to turn that down a little bit because that's still a little too intense. There we go. And then we're going to do a little bit of like an orangey glow around all the highlight areas here. This is one feature I wish Clip Studio Paint had, where I know on Photoshop you can do an outer glow and an inner glow like option on your layers, and that would be super helpful. But as it is, I'm going to have to do this manually, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind, but it would save me some time otherwise. All right, cool. So, let me try something real quick. Oh my god. Cat scaring the hell out of me. Alright, so now that we got all of that, we can do a gradient map layer. Let's see. Kind of want this to be all like warm colors for the most part. There's a lot of warm colors in this, so let's try this. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. And then we can adjust the tones from there. Oops. If I can hit the right thing. Alright, so we're going to zoom it way out here so we can make sure that things are reading. Let's make it a little lighter. Something like that. I think that looks pretty nice. Red. And we're going to go ahead and merge all of this because this is done basically. We're going to add a couple more effects to it real quick before we call it done. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do, actually I might have to do this in this layer up here. What is it? new layer. Tone curve. I gotta remember how to do this. Is it filter? Correction, distort, render, Perlin noise. That's what I need. So let's turn the scale way down here. We'll do it as like 3. Well, maybe even less than that. Let's do 2. Oh, it did it on that layer? I'm confused. Okay, maybe I did need to do that at a different layer. So let's do this. And we'll do that again. Oh, okay. This. Then we can do this. Did it work? Doesn't look like it applied to it. That's so weird. Maybe it did work? It looks like it's going everywhere except for where I wanted it to go. Alright, so maybe I invert the selection. It sucks because I've done this before. I don't know why it's just not working right now. That's okay. We'll mess with it some other time. So we'll get rid of that. Do this as not saturation, not brightness, color. There we go. Some chromatic aberration. And lighten. And then we'll turn that effect down to like 50%. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm gonna call that part done. And definitely gotta save. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I was worried that it would turn out like too much, and I think it's fine. All right, so let's do. I think the hair is probably the next like biggest piece here. So it's kind of trying to figure out where to start. Maybe I'll start at the bottom here because a lot of this is going to be in shadow anyway. Let's make sure that we have some of the shadow from the body as well. If I can see. Oh, some of it's getting on this. Thought that I did the layer structure right, but I guess I didn't. That's okay. Hold on, easier way it is. Do that. That's not what I want. There we go. Kind of manually go in and get some of this. Oh, it's going into the freaking arm. Monica, get your shit together, man. You know, it's probably okay if there's a little bit of overlap. I think it'll be fine. Let's just make sure that we select things a little more carefully. And then I'm gonna carve away some spots. I think that works a little bit better. Alright, so definitely need some shadow from this part of the hair here. And it's gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Alright, and pretty much all this over here is going to be in shadow because it's light is mostly blocked out over there. And I'm thinking at the rate we're going today that I might have to pick this up again tomorrow at some point. I want to at least get a couple parts finished, I think would be choice. This mostly in shadow here. And then we'll go through and do like the details and stuff. Just a little bit of light over here, I think. Just have like a little bit of like kind of like a rim light there, I think. Then we can do things with the gradients on the shadows and stuff. Actually, you know what? I might put some different colors in this shadow here. I think would be good. So let's get this going. Gonna have some shadow from the fingers here. Let's get some of these big areas. trying to keep this light source in mind. Alright, so we definitely need some shadow from like the ear right here. Erase away some of this because it's hitting other parts I don't want it to. Let's get the floof shadows. Alright, that's looking pretty good so far. And I think I have these other hair pieces on a different layer here, so we're not going to mess with that. Alright, cool. Let's do, bring this down. See what it is, like 30%. Let it burn. Alright, so now we do some of the gradient stuff that we did before. Desaturate just a bit here. So nice and big over here. Make sure we have the shape of the head here. And let's bring in some of these other colors with this. A little bit down here with the gold. This area. And we're also going to grab, I think, some of the purple. Just kind of bring it in a little around here. And maybe some blue. And then we can make this nice and subtle. Some of this up here. Vegeta. Stop. God. Kitty is losing his mind. No. Stop. Chill out. Stop it. No. Yeah, he's something's got him hot and bothered. All right, and I think what I want to do, I kind of want to bring some different colors into the shadow. Go. Pull it down. Then blow dodge. 30%. There we go. Alright, now we can start really doing the lighting here. Saturated again. soft part of it. Now let's do those highlights. We'll use this. Vegeta, I need you to relax, man. Trying to work here. That might be a little too intense right there. Just do a little bit across there. Let's put some details on the hair strands here. Oops, I forgot to do the shadow down here. I had a whole ass section of shadows I forgot to do. Alright, let's fix that. So it should be in these layers here. So let's delete that real quick. Oh, I see. Most of it is filled in, maybe? Question mark. No, it's not. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill the whole jam and then I'll erase away some spots. Yeah, I didn't get through here, I don't think. Yeah, I didn't get there. There we go. That should be better. Oh yeah, definitely shrimping. There we go, got that. Yes, definitely save. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the hair and then I will do the rest of the image another day. I don't know what's going on with that too, but that's okay. I think it might be involved in this layer here. I'll figure it out. Alright, I think I want some stuff in the shadows here. Just for like some color variety. Maybe not that color. Gina. Being a little jerk. Maybe, oh, that purple is hella intense. Let's do. You know what? Maybe what I'll do is I'll actually airbrush this in. Yeah, I I'll just do it on this side. I think just on that side will look nice. And yeah, we'll do some. So there's some detail in these. I'll put some down here. Just a little bit in here. I think would be. Oh, maybe some down at the bottom here would be good. And through here. Okay, that's probably good. Dodge. Trying to remember how I just did this. Alright, let's use the same gradient that we used before. Yeah, I love this song. I always like bounce around like to it every time I hear it. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. This is what I forgot. Kind of thinking I want some more up here too, through here. Have more of a glow to it around the face area. Down. Alright, back to my messing with the tone curve. That's pretty good. I think some of this shadow needs to be turned down a little bit. Some of it's a little harsh, I think. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Let's make it more warm. Might even actually change the shadow color to like an orangey color. Oh yeah, that lightened it up quite a bit. And let's go back to our tone curve. Oops. Reset it. I'm just going to kind of bring it like that, I think. Bring some of the shadow back in. Might bring, maybe if I do some color balance here, that'll help too. Bring some more blue back into the shadow, I think. Blue and green. Let's do some more yellow in the midtone. Some cyan in the highlight. I don't know if I like these colors that I put here. I think it's kind of like distracting actually. Let's see what happens when we, maybe if we change them to something else, it won't be as distracting. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can just do, or maybe not. Maybe that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I do have to select it. Crap. Or maybe I could just kind of erase them away a little bit. Think what I might do is kind of just darken up this side of the head some more, so we get some contrast back. Oops. Get it off of the outfit there. What if I use like more of a blue on that side? And then we just bring down the opacity. It might look a little bit better. I think it does because it kind of brings more of the attention to here, which is what I want. Okay. If I don't like it, we can always fix it later. So let's go ahead and merge that. Duplicate. Some chromatic aberration. Lighten. And we'll bring that effect down some. Alright, that's probably a good stopping point because I should probably step away from it and come back and, take a look at things and evaluate it again. Let me go ahead and make this nice and big on the screen here so we can see what we've done. And I will move my big ass VTuber out of the way so you guys can see. And let me over there and let's make it even easier to see. There we go. Yeah, so this is what we have so far, guys. It looks like Nempha's digging it, which is the important thing because it's their OC. Super happy with it so far. So I'm going to go ahead and throw you guys in the lobby. We're going to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me on stream today. You guys are awesome. If you're not following me, go ahead and give me a follow so you can see when I go live. If you would like to support me, you could always subscribe, which would be super fantastic. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to work on this again. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of